What should you do with fantasy's most polarizing assets right now? Let's get down to it and start with Tee Higgins. Buying, selling, or holding Tee Higgins. I personally am going to say I'm buying Tee Higgins. I think that Joe Burrow is starting to look a little bit better. They obviously had a great game against the 49ers this week. I was very, very happy with the progression that I've seen Joe Burrow make. I think he was clearly injured to start the season, but even looking at this last week, 28 of 32 this week for Joe Burrow. 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and also 6 carries for 43 yards. But you're looking at the beneficiaries from that. Jamar Chase had 25, Tyler Boyd had 13, and Tee Higgins had 12 points. Tee Higgins, if he gets a touchdown, obviously you're talking 20 points he's flirting with. This is what healthy Joe Burrow does. And so for me, I'm looking at Tee Higgins, and right now I do understand, like, is he really the wide receiver 18 on the year? There's no way, right?
No.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
It's got to be incorrect.
Yeah,
Sleeper.
Stupid.
Sleeper.
But I mean, Tee Higgins, I do understand why people have been disappointed with him so far, and I do understand why there's some hesitancy to even start Tee Higgins. He's wide receiver 58. That's more accurate.
There you go. Just add 40.
He's had 2 double-digit games this year. Because of that, I think his price is extremely low.
Yeah,
he's still a good receiver. Tee Higgins is a good receiver. We know that. We just never liked his price. I like the price now. So I'm willing to buy. Like, I think he's safe in a market now where I think Jordan Addison is going to be less of a sure thing every week. And even Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to be less of sure things. And honestly, rip Matt Stafford's thumb.
I know.
I think Tee Higgins, he's tied to a good quarterback. He's tied to Joe Burrow. I couldn't do it with my thumb. Tied to Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I'm buying Tee Higgins. What do you think?
Yeah. I will say I'm kind of tired of always hearing that if he scores a touchdown, this and that and this and that. He clearly is the receiver, the guy who's getting the targets between the 20s, not inside the 20. And I think that's just how they function as an offense with Tee Higgins and Chase and Boyd and Joe Mixon, honestly, too. But with Tee Higgins, I do just like the targets that he's getting now that Burrow is getting healthier and Higgins healthier after that rib injury. 6 targets, 5 receptions, 69 yards, which is very nice. It was a very modest performance for a first game back after the bye. Really as healthy as he could be after that injury. I'm looking at Tee Higgins, and the reason I'm fine with this price, I wouldn't say he's a hard buy, in my personal opinion. I do think if you're giving up a mid wide receiver 2, a low end wide receiver 2 for Higgins, I think he's in that tier, and it would end up being a lateral move.
I'm probably not paying
that's probably
that
what
for
he
him.
ends up being. If you can get him for lower than that, sure, like a mid wide receiver 3.
Who in their right mind would be paying a mid to late wide receiver 2 for Tee Higgins? Though?
I don't know. You'd be surprised
Really?
Because the Bengals are on the rise right now, and you know how people are with Tee Higgins. People are crazy about Tee Higgins, and
but I didn't even think I had to clarify that. Okay. So if you're getting him for wide receiver 2 prices, no, I don't want him. If you're getting him for wide receiver 3 or 4 prices, I do want him. That's the qualifying statement.
I basically view him as a Marquise Brown on a clearly better offense. Like, I think he'll get consistent, modest target volume where maybe not as crazy as Marquise Brown, but like anywhere from 6 to 9 or 10 targets a week. And he's just going to provide, again, a very safe floor. He's probably not going to blow you out of the water every single week, blow your socks off by having 28 points consistently or anything like that. I would just count on him being... What are you laughing at? Shut up, man. She's totally throwing me off in this video. Tee Higgins, go buy him. He's solid.
I was going to say, pick your own freaking player now. All right, let's do Chris Olave.
Yeah, so Chris Olave is going to be our next guy here.
First.
And I feel like
what was your official Tee Higgins verdict?
Shut up, dude. That's what I said at the end. I said, Tee Higgins, go buy him. We like him.
All right, cool.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry.
Go back to it. Rewind it.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Gosh. I hope Sam obliterates you in this video via the editing process.
Are you done?
No. Chris Olave. Look, we've had Chris Olave as a buy, I feel like, for over a month now.
Easily.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, we've had him as a buy because he continually doesn't do anything. So how long is he going to be a buy? I don't know. And would I have him as a buy at this point? Legitimately, no. Like, I'm going to have him as a hold at this point because I'm just tired of saying that Chris Olave is going to be a buy and do stuff that he's not going to do. A lot of this, honestly, is because of Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill in the freaking red zone. Like, Olave and Michael Thomas aren't getting any opportunities in the red zone because every time they get to the 20-yard line on their opponent's side, they're giving it to Kamara or they're having Taysom Hill play at
quarterback, and then he just runs the freaking ball, and defenses act like he's not going to run.
To be fair, like Taysom Hill, when he gets the ball, they usually like half and half run or pass with him. So
it doesn't matter.
He passes the ball a fair amount.
I don't care. It infuriates me. But with Chris Olave, man, he's getting fine targets. Like you look at his ceiling of targets against Houston and Jacksonville, 10 and 15 targets. But in each of those games, he only puts up 16 and 12 points.
There's more to this, though.
There is more to this, and some of it is going to be because of the depth of target for Derek Carr over the past few weeks because of his shoulder injury, and that is something that you're going to want to keep an eye on. It's like, hey, he may get a little bit better, be able to take more shots downfield, but when Carr takes shots downfield, who's he targeting? I mean, on those big plays, it was Rashid Shaheed.
Or as you would say,
Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid, I don't even know.
Rashid Shaheed. Yeah. It was bad.
It was bad.
So, with those dynamics and with the fact that, I mean, Kamara has not just not lost a step. I feel like he's gained a step compared to what he's done over the last couple of years. He looks like a new man. Like seriously, he's destroying everybody he's going against. He's getting all those touchdowns. He's getting some nice receiving usage. He's even effective as a runner, I think even more than he ever has been, or at least in recent years. And with all that in mind, I would say just hold Chris Olave, because what am I paying for Chris Olave? I don't know. How low are people on Chris Olave? Probably decently low, but not enough to ship him off for a bag of chips. Like, they're probably smart and wanting to hold on to him too, because you look at that target volume, 10, 15, 9 targets. You're like, yeah, maybe he could capitalize on that at some point. I think he's a hold. Do you disagree with me?
What type of chips would you sell Chris Olave for?
I like tortilla chips.
It's Flamin' Hot Cheetos for me. Like, if somebody's like Chris Olave or a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, I'm like, all right. I'm personally, my verdict is going to be hold as well. I'm so tempted to say buy. I'm honestly so tempted because of the context with the Derek Carr injury.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Chris Olave, we talk about like touchdowns over or under expected. He has 3 touchdowns under expected. That's a lot. That's a big number. That's the biggest one I've ever seen, I think, for being under. But I have to say hold, because as much as I've said buy Chris Olave still goes out there and he's like, I don't know how to football. So I'm not gonna be dumb about it. Like, I think you have to hold Chris Olave.
You also have to take every performance against the Colts secondary with a grain of salt. So Carr could have looked like an MVP that week and then look like the worst QB in the league the next week.
That's what's weird though. Like, even that week against the Colts secondary, Olave had 9 points. I'm like, I really expected more than that. Yeah. All right, let's move to Josh Jacobs here. So with Josh Jacobs, obviously the last 4 games, you've seen the consistent decline. He had 28 points, then 20 points, then 11 points, and then 5 points. And you've seen all 3 of the receptions, targets, and touchdowns decrease. And as a result, his fantasy production has decreased. Now, Josh Jacobs is somebody, again, that we've been telling you to buy. Right now, my guess is that, especially on teams that are now 2-3 win teams, you can get Josh Jacobs pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Rest of the season, how do I feel about Josh Jacobs? Honestly, I don't know how to feel, because while part of me trusts the talent that Josh Jacobs is, part of me knows that Josh McDaniels cannot coach. And it's awful there, and I think it's really, really, really bad. And so part of me looks at the situation, and I'm like, I don't like this at all. I'm going to go hold. This is an
Olave situation all over again. Olave and Jacobs have been 2 of our biggest buys that we've been screaming for over a month now, and neither of them have really delivered. Yeah, Josh Jacobs had a bit of a resurgence there for a couple weeks where he did have 27 points and 19 points, but a lot of that was from his receiving usage and not his increased efficiency in the run game. I mean, he's averaging on the lower side of 3 yards per carry right now. So I'm not very excited about that. I wouldn't say I'm optimistic about Josh Jacobs improving his efficiency. Am I optimistic that he maintains the volume he's been getting? Yeah, because a lot of the reason Vegas has been struggling is because they can't get the run game going. They've got to figure something out, and they will not be effective unless they get the run game going, and that has to go through Josh Jacobs. They don't have anyone else other than him, and this is a big prove-it year for Jacobs too. So I think you've got to see him really come on for the second half of the year. I would go almost like a hybrid hold buy if you can get him for a really nice discounted price.
Like
really
nothing?
Cheap.
Yeah.
Not nothing, but like a guy who just clearly with volume has less upside. Like that's, I mean, who are some of the guys that you'd be willing to let go of?
I don't even know, man. I mean, the dude's the RB17 on the season. He is first in weighted opportunities and first in targets. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen a bigger disconnect between those 2 stats. Second in receiving yards, 19th in fantasy points per game right now. There's just such a disconnect between the volume he's getting in him. I mean, this sucks to say. He's just been inefficient. I don't think it's all his fault, but I think it's really bad.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about this too? Josh Jacobs being the running back 17 in PPR leagues, someone who we never talk about, who many people would say is tiers above, and we just don't speak about it. It's all hush hush. I mean, Tony Pollard is a running back 15. He hasn't been much better.
True.
He's been very inefficient as well. And I think when you're looking at that, you're like, okay, if that's the case, and Pollard's a lot more expensive, and I need a running back that is going to at least be a mid running back too, because I have so many injuries or whatever, Josh Jacobs would probably be the guy I'd want to target because he is so much cheaper than someone like Tony Pollard, who's at the same tier of production at the moment.
Yes. We've been telling people to buy Josh Jacobs. You're right. It's Chris Olave. I'm just hesitant. So,
yeah.
All right, let's go. So you're doing like a buy-sell hybrid there. If
yeah,
you get him
buy-sell
cheap,
hybrid.
Go get him,
I wouldn't be jumping out of my pants to go get Josh Jacobs like at all costs. I would just...
You're going to jump out of your pants?
I would go get some feelers and see if I can
You're going to feel what? All right, Zay Flowers is going to be next here, and I'll let you talk about Zay Flowers, but I already have my answer for this one.
Yeah, so Zay Flowers had some nice weeks there. It had a lot of nice targets, 11 targets, 8 targets against Pittsburgh and Tennessee. Had 6 and 7 the last couple of weeks with, a modest 11 points and 6 points against relatively friendly matchups.
How many points did he have against Arizona?
6.9.
Nice.
Isn't that nice? Overall, because of let me just say this as a disclaimer, some of the weirdest games in the NFL that have happened to date this season have involved the Baltimore Ravens, like on multiple occasions. Like I could list 3 or 4 games, this game being one of them against Arizona. It was just weird. There was a Pittsburgh game that was weird. And then there was a Colts game that was like terrifyingly weird.
Weird
like weird.
Like kiss your mom on the lips weird?
No, that's really weird. Just like kind of on the weird level, not above and beyond weird. But with Zay Flowers, I will say with his volume and with what he's been doing with that volume, excluding the Arizona game, I would still lean. I mean, what's his price right now?
That's what I don't really know. I honestly don't know what he's going for. I haven't seen a lot of trades with Zay Flowers.
If there hasn't been many trades for Zay Flowers and he has a down week like this, a 2 couple down weeks, I'd go and see if I can capitalize on that because, and this is going to be not so much attributed to Zay Flowers, but more to how good Lamar Jackson has been as a passer. I mean, this is something that we've been wanting to see for years, and Greg Roman has crushed our dreams, but now we have an actual offensive coordinator in Todd Monken who knows the strengths of his players offensively and capitalizes on those strengths and utilizes them in the correct way, not just the same way every other freaking play. And that has come with a lot of great volume for Lamar Jackson, and that's helped all of these receivers, but ultimately it has helped Zay Flowers produce as a rookie. As a rookie, guys, you're going to have down weeks like this with a rookie. I'm kind of talking myself into buying Zay Flowers for the second half of the season, I guess, just because of how good Lamar Jackson has been and how good he'll continue to be barring injury. I think Zay Flowers has proven time and time again that he is the clear number 1 option there in the receiving game. Yeah, Mark Andrews is going to take some touchdowns here and there. Mark Andrews ain't producing like he did 2 years ago. And a lot of that is attributed to Zay Flowers. So I think Zay Flowers is I think for the rest of the season, he's a very safe flex option who offers maybe even some nice upside as the season progresses as he grows into this wide receiver 1 role that he's been given. I mean, not given, he's earned.
I think for me, it's more just seeing the Ravens offense and how good they've been, and that Lamar's playing at a very high level right now, and I just want pieces of that offense. That's the main reason for me. What are you laughing at?
You just said the exact same thing that I said.
I'm just echoing your sentiment.
Yeah. Like, no, I appreciate it.
You take 10 minutes to talk, you're going to say everything that I want to say. So I agree with you. I think you talked me into buying Zay Flowers too.
Yeah.
So I'll buy him. I'll go Rhamondre Stevenson next. And I mean, man, the Patriots, I knew they'd be bad, but they're bad.
Bad.
I remember the first game of the season, I actually was like, okay, maybe they won't be that bad.
They have looked better the last couple games.
Okay.
And the fact that they scored 17 against Miami was pretty nice.
And you're looking at Rhamondre's last 4 games: 2 points, 18 points, 14 points, and 7 points.
The targets.
It's been a lot. Yeah, that's what I like.
Yep.
6 targets, 4 targets in the last couple games. I think you can still get Rhamondre Stevenson dirt cheap. I still don't want a running back like him on a terrible team. I still think Ezekiel Elliott matters there. I'm going to go hold. I want to say sell, but like I really don't think.
No, he's definitely not a sell.
I don't think he's worth anything.
No.
So
You're stuck.
But I'm also not
Rhamondre.
going and buying. I'm not going out of my way to buy Rhamondre Stevenson on this crappy offense. No way I'm doing that. It's just bad. So I'm going to go hold, and that's boring. I know there's a lot of holds right now, but I'm just going to go hold.
Yep. I'm going to do another hybrid thing here. I'm going to go hybrid, hold, sell. Bijan Robinson. I am done. I am done with the Falcons offense. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm done. Did I mention that I'm done
Arthur Smith
with everything? And here's a single reason why. Arthur Smith hates you. He hates everyone in the fantasy community. He hates all of your fantasy teams. He hates everything about fantasy football. And he single-handedly wants to screw you and all of your hopes to win your championships.
He likes FedEx, though.
Maybe he can send me a nice gift for screwing my season. Good thing I didn't heavily invest in Bijan Robinson because he was a rookie running back, but this is even worse than I expected. I thought there was a chance that Bijan Robinson would go off. No, I should laugh at myself right now. I am. Nathan, you're a freaking idiot, dude. Like, Bijan Robinson, I'm sorry, man. I feel so bad for you. Sorry for being drafted 8th overall in the NFL draft just to be utilized like a backup committee running back with Arthur Smith.
He said the B word.
So bad. No, I didn't. I said bad.
You said backup.
Oh, yeah. That's all I'm going to say, honestly, about Bijan Robinson.
That's all he's saying.
If someone's going to pay low-end running back one prices for Bijan Robinson, I'm not kidding you. I would capitalize on that and sell Bijan.
I'm not going to lie. That was really entertaining. I think you guys probably thought so, too. Yeah, I'll be with you there. I'm going to lean sell if you can get anything. If not, you have to hold.
You said that in a much calmer way.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Yep. Let's fly through these last few.
All right, go ahead. Take Rashee Rice.
So Rashee Rice is going to be our next guy here. And I'm going to say, let's go with buy. I think Rashee Rice is on the rise here.
Wow.
I am very optimistic about what he's going to do for the rest of the year. There is no one there. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, truly, I think you said this once, Avery, he is legitimately throwing some bananas. And he's making the bananas look like they can catch the ball.
Well, the theoretical was if he threw to a banana would have 40 yards and a touchdown.
But it's not even theoretical.
But the bananas are probably better receivers than what they have.
Yes. Except for Rashee Rice, who is actually doing some nice stuff here. It's been a slow increase in addition into the offense, a slow increase in snap share. And every time they give him an extra inch, he totally capitalizes on it, man. He is capitalizing on every single opportunity he's given, every single target. He has a very, very impressive catch rate. He's scoring touchdowns every other game. And he's even doing some things after the catch now. Some nice things he did against Denver on the sideline. Did you see that where he kind of stayed in bounds?
No.
Juked a guy. It was real, real nice. So made me excited about Rashee Rice for the second half of the season. Again, another rookie receiver who's only going to get better as time goes on and is only gaining trust with the best quarterback in the NFL.
I'm going to directly contradict you for the first time here, and I'm going to go sell.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't actually, and I don't think this is that controversial because Rashee Rice, you're talking about a flex-level player. But when I'm looking at his last 4 games, 13 points, 11 points, 17 points, and 9.6 points, I don't really necessarily think that's sustainable for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Chiefs have been struggling offensively a little bit, and I think they're going to figure that out sooner rather than later. I don't think Andy Reid's the type of coach that's just going to let that continue, and a lot of that, I think, has to do with their offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach, if you know who I'm talking about. But at the same time, I do think as they get later into the season that they're going to start utilizing their running backs a little bit more in the passing game, similar to how they did last season with Jerick McKinnon. So because of that, I do think that could directly impact Rashee Rice's production. I'm less optimistic about him rest of season. I think that, he's looked very good so far, especially like even from a yak ability. But when you're looking at his targets over the last 4 games, 5 targets, 4 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, and you're correlating that with scoring double digits in essentially all 4 of those games. He was really close in the last one. Usually those 2 things don't add up. He had touchdowns in 2 of those games. In the 2 games he didn't have touchdowns, 11.2 points and 9.6 points. That's great. if you do look at people and that are saying, okay, this is a rookie wide receiver that's been producing, he's playing with Patrick Mahomes, and you can sell him for anything. Like, if you can sell Rashee Rice for Tee Higgins or something like that, Deontay Johnson, guys like that, I'm going and buying those guys. If people are still low on Calvin Ridley, I think those are maybe the type of guys you could get with Rashee Rice in a throw-in.
So according to our flock rankings, he's currently going around Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Tyjae Spears, Tank Dell, Dalton Kincaid, Romeo Dubs. Like,
I'm taking him over all of those guys.
Yeah, and if that's the case, if that's his price, like I think there may be some people that aren't quite sold on him, kind of like you. And if that's the case, then I'm just taking him there.
Yeah, but then again, that's also expert rankings, and there's a creator rankings. So
It's
creators
true.
will naturally rank like adjust for market.
Just food for thought.
Yeah,
a banana for thought.
If that is nice, if that's where he's going, like I would, again, the guys I mentioned, Tee Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Calvin Ridley, I'm going for those caliber guys. And if I can get that from Rashee Rice and another piece, that's the type of move I'm making.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it at all costs, though, and I'm going to go sell. I'm not like dying to start him in the fantasy playoffs. So, all right, last guy, Terry McLaurin. With Terry,
he's a hold for me.
I'm going to go hold. I think it's a cop-out answer, kind of, but
there's too much volume there.
9 points, 14 points, 15 points, and 17 points. You have a trend up, which is great.
Yep.
12 targets, 9 targets, 11 targets. That's what I want to see. I'm comfortable with that. Sam Howell's been playing better. Terry McLaurin's one of the best. Wow, what position does Terry McLaurin play? Wide receiver.
Linebacker.
He's one of the best one of those in the league, and so I'm going to just say hold.
Banana backer.
True.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I agree. I think he's absolutely a hold. I won't even combat you there.
All right. There's our buy sell
Plain
holds for the week.
standoffish.
Let us know. I know. Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do us a huge favor, drop a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you guys for joining us today. We'll see you later.